Hello YouTube, hello everyone who is an EWI player. Today I celebrate my 1 year with sample modeling, and maybe I can take the story on how I got involved. So let me recall back that in about a year ago, actually, I believe it was like February last year, I went walking through a music store in Tokyo. And I was listening to a really cool song and I had no idea what's going on, but I said, that's a real good saxophone player, I need to check him out. And I walked around the corner and I ended up in the synthesizer software corner. It's like, now this is getting really strange, where's that saxophone coming from? And there was demonstration video. It was just the matrix with the notes played in by somebody. But when I heard what this virtual soprano sax synth engine did, the SWAM-Engine, I was like, that's what I need for my Yamaha WX. I would like to have something so my neighbors can stop complaining about noise from the apartment. So I bought the software and I decided let's do a song by Steps Ahead called the Tamarind Lion, and it's on my page as well. It was a little bit slower than the original, but I really would like to give my expression into the song more than just playing it as is. And then I decided I need to look at this company on Facebook, and I did that, and I told them I really love your product and I'm very happy to have my hands on it. If you'd like to see what I did with it, just check this video, and I linked it. And then I got an email back from them by the brainchilds of Giorgio Tomasini and his partner Peter Sidlasek. And they basically said, hey, we saw your video, we were very impressed. Would you like to represent our company in one way or the other in Japan or with the people that you are affiliated with here? And I said, yeah, sure, what can I do? What can you help me with? And they said, basically, we want you to make videos and use our instruments as much as you can and promote the heck out of it. And of course, I never promoted stuff before, but I can say when I bought that soprano sax, Miss Sax, I was so blown away by it, so I didn't even hesitate, and I said, of course, I'll do it. Great, we got something for you, so just keep yourself looking out for some goodies. And now, here I am. I'm enjoying every bit of sample modeling that I have, and I've been using it on stage now for the last 4 weeks. That's the most important thing about this video. Since 2009 I've been going back into writing music, and I left the stage in 2008 to just go into the producer's role. But I always felt I want to have some live elements into my composition skills, and that's where the sample modeling engine comes in. Now I can play in all the flutes, the brass, and all the instruments I could think of that I would put in my own scores. And sample modeling really fit the bill of everything I wanted to do. I can do it now. But that was in this secluded area, and I really miss going back on stage. I thought I need to find a way to get myself out there. So it was just maybe a month or two ago, and a bass player, Mr. Jeff Curry from Texas, is a really famous musician over here. He's seen my videos, he knows what I can do, and he invited me to sit in on one of his concerts. So he gave me all the charts and stuff 2 weeks in advance, and I listened through all the music, and I prepared and I practiced like 1 or 2 hours a day. I mean, playing the stuff is not the hard part to be an EWI player. It's about finding the right sounds for the right song. That's the biggest trick, and I think that what separates everyone else, and I think Jeff Curry's thinking about instrumentation as well. It's like, for this one we need a trumpet, and for this one maybe a saxophone. And we already have a baritone sax player here, and we have an alto sax player. And they all gonna be playing their own solo stuff. So where do I get to shine? I get to play a flugelhorn on a beautiful ballad, and I was like, this is great, I'll do it. And but it's not just about playing the flugelhorn, just because I'm a saxophone player from the beginning, so for me it's always been, this is the hard part when you're dealing with sample modeling or any kind of virtual instrument that is physically modeling another instrument. You need to study those real life instruments, hearing other people play it, hearing people talk about it, play your take on a song, send it to a trumpet player, and they give you the feedback that you have too much vibrato, maybe dial it down a little bit. And then I do it again and I send it back to the trumpet player, and he says, hey, I can't tell the difference if it's real or not, but you nailed it. So it's always good to practice every sound, one sound per day, to get used to how the instrument behaves. And that's the cool thing about sample modeling products. They really behave like the real instruments in real life. So part of this is also to simulate the kind of noises or sound effect that happens within the instruments. It's not squeaky clean all the time, so that brings that extra added realism. If I have to sit in a band and they expect maybe something very clean from a computer-based software, but this is as real as it gets. And I'm so happy that I have my soprano and my alto in this room, but I get the entire saxophone family with me. I get all the flutes with me. I get the brass that I need. I even get the instruments I couldn't play as a kid. I could never play the clarinet. No matter how hard I tried, I could never make a sound in a clarinet. But with a saxophone, it was so easy. My brain is maybe hardwired on a different level, but just sitting with a saxophone or a flute, it becomes a little bit limited over time, and you really would like to try something new, then go sample modeling. So that's what happened about a year ago. So I did a video with my old Yamaha WX11, and then they asked me, hey, yeah, please use our products here, take it, make videos. And that's what I'm gonna do. So I did one more video. I believe there was a Rocky 4 training montage video, and after that my tone generator died. The tone generator, the brain with a MIDI cable and everything, just went down the drain. It was made in Germany, even though it's Yamaha, but it was German engineers who made that machine in 1985. It had a lifespan of 30 years, and that's great quality. But now I stood there like, oh shit, I promised to make videos, I promised to keep everything up, what I'm gonna do. And I've been looking at the EWI-USB in the store. I never got the chance to really try it out. I tried to watch as many YouTube videos as I could, but I could never find any good, I'm sorry to say, any good EWI players. I even tried to figure out how the instrument worked. I mean, can I do vibrato with my lips around that plastic white thingy? What about the reed mechanism in the Yamaha? That's really good. It really feels like a saxophone. A lot of these questions came up into my mind, but I had no choice. Either I tried to get myself another Yamaha WX7 with the VL70M version. It's a smaller box, but still you have two things to carry around with, and I would like to minimize gear as much as possible. And still I would only use sound from my computer anyway. So now I just said, okay, let's have a look at these instruments and see what I can do. So I tried a Kai EWI 4000 straight out of the box in the store. I mean, that's not really how you can feel comfortable with it, because no one tells you how to play on it. So it was a real big switcheroo for me, because I'm always used to have mechanics, physical buttons that open and close. but this was so much like going from a saxophone to when you're playing a recorder. But this is so much more sensitive than a recorder, so my brain was just wrapping itself around like I have to really go back to basic. I need to look at this as a brand new instrument. And I thought, well, the 4000S is so damn expensive and the 5000 is coming out, it's going to be even more expensive. What's the cheapest option I can get? And then something else popped into view. It's like EWI-USB. Alright, the price is very cheap, but that's because it doesn't carry any sound engine in itself. It's just the EWI with a USB cable to your computer and driving software from there. So I bought it for $260 roughly at the time, and I knew I would not use the software that comes with the EWI, but you need that software because it acts like a brain. So you can set up parameters where you want it and how the different buttons will work for you. So it's really good that you can fine-tune the instrument for your needs and the sensitivity of the lip pressure or vibrato, all those stuff, and some touch panel parameters and how you like the instrument to behave. So you need that software, but you don't necessarily need the sounds of this software. But it's a good starting point if you don't get your hands on anything like sample modeling or any other world of physics engines. So once you set up your instrument, you can save it as a snapshot. It will send that thing back to your EWI and it's saved. So if you would like to do any more fine-tunings, do new things, and then snapshot it back into your instrument, and it will stay that way. When even you disconnect and hook it up on stage next time, it will stay the same. And right now, everything works. And now we're coming into the thing, going back from the studio onto the stage. I missed my time on the stage. I miss playing with other people. So I now had a good chance to play with Jim Curry. And I've always been an avid Cubase user, and I've been taking my time setting up the songs 2 weeks in advance, making a folder, putting in the right instruments for right song, and then hopefully I would only need 2 or 3 clicks to go to the next song and activate the track with all the sub instruments. But there was always this kind of limiting feeling of like, oh, we want you to take a solo here. And I say, well, if I'm playing a full patch, I would like to solo with only one instrument. So if one of you play or do a solo before me, I can change it during the time. And then if we're going to go back into the head, I would like to have another guy taking a solo behind me so I can activate all my instruments. Very logically, that's what I did with Cubase. But now we know Cubase is not meant to be a live platform. However, that's what all I could do at the time. But after the concert, it was very good. I was very happy about how it all turned out. Except for some people nervously walking on and off stage near my computer. It's like I really wanted to punch the guy, but hey, we're just trying to be cool that it all worked. For me, it was the biggest test of everything to be part of a concert. It was really worth it. And so he said, well, I might have something for you back in June and July, so if you're interested, you can help me out with that. I said, yeah, sure, great. So now I really need to find a different way to get this thing to work. So then I hear about Ableton Live. And yeah, the name speaks for itself. It's meant to be made for live use. But every video I checked on the internet has always been different. It's always been more electronic based, dubstep, techno, doing DJ sets, all kinds of stuff that does not revolve around using an EWI. But I've seen EWI practitioners using Ableton Live for like maybe triggering loops and stuff, and maybe have something completely sound source to play on top. But they don't reveal much about how they're actually using the damn thing. But in my case, I really wanted to have like one button access to all of my instruments and have a combination of instrument running with just a touch of a button and know where the instruments are at all times without looking at the computer screen. So now I've been digging myself deep into Ableton for the last 2 weeks, and I got everything working except one thing, which became the breakthrough point of today. It's like you can map anything in Ableton to respond to anything that you press on a launch pad that you will see down here. I'm gonna bring in a closer look on that thing later. So as long as you have a control surface, you want it to register something. But here it's a problem with Ableton Live. Straight out of the box, it works with certain devices, it works with that, but once you do leave it, it cannot do certain things in certain modes. So you need to have some kind of a midi-wrapper, and like a subroutine program going in the background. And this one is called AutoMap. And what this software allows me to do is to make this control surface to light up in a certain way that I want it. But it's felt like a lot of trial and error. But 2 days ago, I managed to at least reroute everything so I could press a button, turn off and on a channel, or in this case the record arming thing. But I had no indication if I muted it or if I activated it. So that's where my plan for the last 2 days, yesterday and today, was to try to get some kind of indicator that my track is on and that instrument is on or off. And we're going to have a look at that now, because now I feel I have a true platform. So let's bring it closer. Alright, so we're popping into a closer view and we're inspecting my Innovation Launchpad Mini setup. This could not have been possible without the media wrapping software called AutoMap, and it really put me in a different mode here. Right now it says user 2, and I mean it's weird that Ableton is like the main instigator for having these hardware components but cannot really do much with sending feedback. So just a few days ago I dreamt about making myself an instrument patch bay. So I have all my instrument on 64 buttons and instant access to turning on and off instruments, so I could really build a live instrumentation on the fly, or when I take a solo, for example, I can just switch the instruments off that I need. And to have something light up and just have a visual thing close nearby, putting it on a table and then just press it on, and there we go. There's my alto sax. Our brain can do amazing things. Even though it's not indicated here, I already memorized in a logical way on where I would like things to be. So in this case, I try to get it like the brightest instruments on top. In this case, we start with the flute family. So the piccolo, the normal flute, alto, and the bass flute. Oh, that button always messes up for me. And then we have the reeds, so saxophone, alto, that's the soprano, alto, tenor, baritone, and then clarinet and bass clarinet. Those colors are nice and bright in the dark. And then we move into the brass. So we start with the brightest on top, of course, is the trumpets. So we have the trumpet, flugelhorn, and a piccolo. And then the trombone, tenor trombone actually, and a valve trombone. So it's all really logical setup for me, for my brain to remember. And as you see in the bottom, there's like a little bit of a skewed off corner. So I know this quarter is for all my wind instruments. I could add some more trombones or another trumpet with a mute or something later. So it's always up for discussion there. Now these last two quarters here, actually the two rows on each quarter here will be synth leads, perfect for R&B, techno and stuff like that. And these two bottom ones will be for synth basses or dance or something more in the dubstep category of wobble basses. And then up here in this corner you see we have, again, I'm thinking about acoustics. So I have an acoustic guitar here, a distorted guitar here, and a vibraphone. I'm still thinking what I'm going to put here. But from here I have a synth pad, a really mysterious thing that is really cool because I decided the pad will not react to pitch bend. So it means I can play another note on top of it and bend this note, meanwhile this one stays in chord. So I can have like a small number for myself. So I just need to find one more acoustic instrument and then map all these two rows left with synth pads, and then I'm set to go to have more fun concerts. So this is still expanding until I have all my 64 instruments planned out here. Then everything will be cool, because 64 instruments is all that I need. But once again, this is not possible straight from the box in Ableton Live. So Novation has been very kind to supply an extra driver called the AutoMap driver, and you just install it in the background, and when you start up the program you do a short command, I believe it's user 2 and arrow down, a pop-up window will appear, and from there on you can do the necessary changes. So I actually have it set up in 2 pages, and the 2 pages corresponds to one command. So that's why these buttons turn yellow, because I'm actually activating a red button and a channel button at once. I thought it was not going to be necessary, but when I just press the record arm button, the button just turns a little bit brighter red. So it would be really hard to see any difference of these when just having a red color like this one. It's still red, but it lights a little bit brighter red. But it's not safe, so that's why I like a really drastic color like that, so I can spot it in the middle of the set and just turn it off when I don't need it. So that's my setup so far. I haven't connected the EWI just yet, but it's there in the bag from yesterday's gig, and I'm very happy about how it all turned out. So thank you very much for watching, and happy anniversary, Sample Modeling.